Trước khi bắt đầu, nếu bạn đang tìm kiếm sách để học IELTS hiệu quả, thì đây là những cuốn sách chúng mình khuyên dùng. Bạn hãy xem ở phần giỏ hàng trong kênh nhé.
Section 2. You will hear an Art Center director giving information to a group of people attending an arts weekend.
Welcome to Grampic Arts Campus for our annual residential arts weekend. I'm Bob Grain, director of the program. It's a large campus. It's quite easy to get lost, so I'm going to give you a quick overview of the most important places here. Right, I'm glad you all found your way here to reception. First, a word about parking. We do have a free temporary car park here. And for those of you coming by bike, the bike sheds aren't far from reception. You'll see them on your left as you walk down South Lane towards the residential rooms. Now, dinner is in the dining room at 7:30. If you need something to eat now, the snack shop is still open. The quickest way to get there is to leave here, go straight through the office, they won't mind, the ornamental ponds in front of you, and the snack shop is the building on your left. The fitness facilities are even better this year. We've outgrown the old fitness rooms, which were next to the office. To find the new fitness rooms from here, walk up to North Road. They're at the end in the last block next to the dining room. Now, your bedrooms are quite near. You can see the single rooms in the tall block to the far left of us across South Lane. Couples and families are in our family rooms, right next door to them. I'm afraid there aren't any TVs in the rooms. We ask you to keep the noise down, please. We have a TV room. You can probably see it from here. It's right opposite us in the big red building. But there are gaps in our timetables for some extra options. You may have this information in your brochure, but there have been some changes. Firstly, the drama option. I'm afraid our theatre and practice rooms here are being refurbished and are out of use. We decided against using our sports hall, and instead we're going to use our lecture rooms, which we've converted into a theatre for the weekend. There are also changes to the photography option. This year, this option isn't open to everyone. We decided for practical reasons to reserve it for beginners with no previous experience. Let me remind you that you don't need any special equipment. That's provided. The tutors have said that unfortunately they can't accept parents with children because that proved too disruptive last time. But if you're over 18, that's fine. On to the writing option. Previous courses looked at starting your novel. This year, we wondered about focusing on the techniques of writing different types of poetry. However, as a result of many requests, we've decided the workshop will concentrate on helping each participant write one or more short stories. Poetry may be some future time. Now, music. The brochure says you'll go to a concert. That's a misprint. Instead, you'll be writing and putting on your own performance, a concert for yourselves. Unfortunately, the singing tutor is ill. It's too late to replace her, so we've had to cancel singing lessons. Apologies for that. Finally, the creche. This is available for all families on the programme, and there are still some places left. I'm sure you'll be pleased to know that the charge for this hasn't increased since last year. Lunch is included, but of course parents are welcome to collect their children and spend the lunch break with them. May I remind you that any fees for this service must be settled in full at the end of the last day. So, has anybody got any questions?
Section 2. You will hear a coordinator talking to volunteer helpers before a race involving a large number of people.
Thank you for all volunteering to help us with the Bridge to Brisbane Fun Run. The purpose of this meeting is to give you some information about your duties on race day. Some of you are asking about where you can park on the day. Unfortunately, some of the usual places, down by the river for example, will be out of bounds because we'll need extra space for emergency vehicles. Probably the best option is the Jack Gray Sports Field in Barker Street. Although the closest parking lot is the Metro shopping complex, I would advise you not to park there as they tend to tow away people who aren't customers. At the start line, most of you will be checking that runners have the necessary gear, especially their electronic timing chip, the race number and the identity wristband. Make sure that the number is attached to the front of the running shirt or singlet, not the back. The timing chip, which records the runner's time, needs to be clipped onto one of their shoes, and check that they are wearing their wristband. Some of you will be responsible for organising the starting groups. It's very important that runners start in a particular order. There is a system of colour codes. The red group are walkers and people with baby strollers. The purple group are runners that expect to finish in at less than 1 hour, and the yellow group are our elite athletes. We'd like them to start the race, and we'd like the other groups to follow after that, with the red group and the strollers at the very back. This is for their own safety. Now, we are still short on volunteers for the race day, so if you have any friends or family members who might be interested, please let us know. We're probably okay for people to help with the start, but we'll still desperately need volunteers along the race course to distribute water bottles to the runners. A few of you have offered to help with first aid, but the good people of St John's Ambulance have donated their services, so that won't be necessary. Now I'll show you the layout of the race village, which is where the race ends. Can you all see the map? If you look at the bottom right-hand side, you'll see where the runners enter the village, next to the corporate catering section. As you continue along the course, you'll see the stage on your right. That's where the winners will receive their medals. Now, can you all see the finish line near the centre? After they finish the race, the runners can take one of two paths, it doesn't matter which one, to get their finishers' T-shirts from the T-shirt stand at the end of those paths. Many of you will be stationed there at the end of the race. After they've finished, the runners will also want their belongings, and all bags are kept in the building on Bowen Road. It's quite close to the exit, in the top left-hand corner of your map. Now, some of you will have an important role, working in the information centre. That's the building in the centre of the map, not far from the finish line. It's just below it on your map. And one other thing, can you all please remind the runners to enter in the prize draw for the new car? The entry box is between the shade tents and the corporate catering buildings. OK, let's see now. What else do I need to point out? Yes, the runners are always thirsty, and the main water station in the village is just beside the third exit through to Gregory Terrace. Can you see it there to the left of the corporate catering area? So everyone, please direct the race finishers there to get their free bottled water.
Part 2. You will hear a man called Rob Schaefer, who is the general manager of a new hotel, talking about the hotel to members of the public on the opening day.
Well, let's get started. I want to thank you all for coming along to the opening of the Montana Resort Hotel. My name's Rob Schaefer, and I'm the general manager here. We're very glad so many of you have come along to see the beautiful facilities we have here at the hotel. We feel we're exceptionally located, convenient for the city, but far enough from the flight path to and from the airport so that guests won't be disturbed and will be able to recharge their batteries in these uniquely peaceful surroundings. Firstly, the guest rooms. What we call the standard rooms are about 80 square feet, Very spacious. These come with one king-size bed or with 2 double beds and a refrigerator, and as far as price goes, they go up to $210 per room, but at the lower end of the range, you can get one for just $145. So these are very suitable for our more price-conscious guests. Then there are deluxe suites. These have a separate living room as well as the bedroom. The bedrooms are slightly larger than the standard rooms, with huge windows, and each one has a balcony where you can sit out and enjoy the views, either of the golf course or the mountains, depending which way the room is facing. We welcome families at the hotel. Extra beds for your room can be provided for young children at no extra cost, and that's true even in the summer. Also, we have some rooms that adjoin one another, with a door connecting them. We expect that these will attract parents who want to be able to check that their children are safe easily. All our guests can benefit from the fine dining opportunities in the hotel. In the grill room, guests can watch the flames fly as food is sizzled by the restaurant's master chefs, while the Pantheon restaurant has facilities for intimate dining or large dinners and a live jazz band that spices up the evenings from Thursday to Saturday. Finally, the Montana Cafe is open 24/7 for anything from a coffee or a sandwich to a more substantial meal. Now let's have a look at our outdoor facilities. So here at the main entrance to the hotel, we're looking north, straight down Peak Road. You'll see a few horses in the nearby field, and the first building on our right is the barn where the horses are kept. We have 12 of them, and they've all been trained here so they know the terrain. Beyond that, you can just see the lake. The road bends around past that, and just on that corner between the road and the lakeside, there are a couple of tennis courts. It's a beautiful setting for a game. I'm sure you'll agree. Then looking on the left side of Peak Road, there's a road that leads off it that's called Valley Avenue. And on this side of Valley Avenue, just past that patch of trees, there's a building with a flat roof. And that's our Olympic-sized swimming pool. This has 12 lanes, and there's also a baby pool for children. The Montana Golf Course is the jewel of our outdoor facilities, though. You can see part of it on the far side of Valley Avenue, and it spreads off west for a pretty long way. It's an 18-hole course with beautiful landscaping. We expect lots of golfers to stay, and one of our aims is to host a professional golf tournament. The last building I want to point out is the office of the Outdoor Facilities Manager. It's in its own building, just opposite where Valley Avenue turns off on Peak Road. Okay, so if you'd like to follow me...
Section 2. You will hear a woman called Marie talking at a conference to a group of people who work in the hospitality industry in Scotland.
Hi, my name's Marie Cooper, and I'm here to tell you about the scholarships offered by the hospitality industry in Scotland. The scholarship scheme supports people currently working in hotels, resorts, and tourist attractions. Each year, 100 people are selected to go and work in some of the leading hospitality organisations in the world. This time last year, I was wondering whether to apply for a scholarship and not sure if I had enough experience to be successful. I needn't have worried. The scholarship is open to people of all ages working full-time in the industry. The only stipulation is that you need to have worked for 3 years in hospitality, not necessarily for the same organisation. Of course, they're looking for ambitious people who want to get on, but who haven't had the chance to work in management or studied at college. So there are no minimum qualifications required. And you're just as likely to be offered a scholarship if you work for a large fancy hotel in Edinburgh or a small family hotel in the Highlands. As we all know, Scotland is famous for its fishing, golf, coastline and unspoilt countryside, which is why It's always been a popular destination for tourists from all over the world. Something like 10% of people in Scotland depend on the Scottish hospitality industry for their income, so it's vital that it continues to attract large numbers of visitors each year. The scholarships are a way of maintaining Scotland's reputation as a quality destination, so that visitors to Scotland continue to have a very positive experience. I currently work at the Rock Hotel in Perth as a trainee manager, but I joined as a receptionist 5 years ago. At the time, I was looking for work that fitted in with a young family, and I was lucky to get the perfect job for me, where I could take time off during the school holidays. I realised soon after I started that I loved working with people and enjoyed working in a hotel environment. Last year, I was lucky enough to be a scholarship winner. The application process was actually quite simple. I was worried I'd have to give a presentation in front of loads of people, but you just have to produce a report on your current place of employment, saying how you think you could make a difference there. My manager at the Rock Hotel was very supportive and gave me time off to do the writing and the research. Then, all the winners were invited to an awards ceremony. They were mostly working in different sorts of hotels, although a few were working at tourist attractions, and one was involved in the Edinburgh Festival. I'd expected I'd be one of the youngest, but at least half the people were younger than me. All the people I met couldn't believe their luck that they'd been successful, as it's not unusual to fail the first time. I was sent to the Florida Beach Hotel. Here the emphasis is on customer service, making sure that staff are trained to give customers a really personal service, checking that guests are enjoying their stay, so they're encouraged to chat with them, even if their job is just clearing tables. Quite a different atmosphere to some hotels I know, where the emphasis is on efficiency, which can make the guests feel in the way. One of the things we were encouraged to do while we were on our placements was to find out what people thought about visiting Scotland. That was quite interesting. Although everyone I spoke to knew a bit about Scotland, the majority had never considered a holiday there. And of the people who were thinking of visiting Scotland, they were really only interested in visiting Edinburgh and St Andrews. Anyway, on my return to the Rock Hotel, my manager asked me to introduce some improvements, and the first thing I did was to redraft our customer survey form to get guests' detailed opinions. This used to be given to customers at the end of their stay when they're in a rush to leave, so I decided it would be better to email them to customers at home so they have more time to complete them. It's another way of staying in contact with them too.
Part 2. You will hear an employee of a driving school answering a telephone inquiry about training to take a driving test.
Safety Driving Center, hello?
Hello. Can you give me some information about driving lessons?
Yes. There are 2 courses, one on theory and one practical course, and most people do the 2 courses simultaneously. The first part of the theory course consists of a series of lessons, and you can do these either at the center in one of our classrooms or via the internet. You work through the material at your own pace, but there's a tutor on hand to help whenever you need it. At the second stage, we review what we've covered so far. We do this in the classroom. We don't deliver it online, so you have to come into the center. At the end of this lesson, there's a test, but this is just for practice. It's not a proper RTD test. If you're satisfied with your performance on this, you can go on to the next stage. And if you're not, you can go back to stage 1 and follow the lessons again. The third stage is the real test, the one set and administered by the RTD. That's the Road Traffic Department. Provided you pass that test, You then get your provisional driving license, which you need before you can venture onto public highways. The practical course starts off here at the test center, and it consists of training and assessment on our specially designed circuit. This allows you to get driving experience immediately, but in a safe environment. At the next stage, you continue with training and assessment, but on public highways. Obviously, you can't do this until you've obtained your provisional license to show that you've got some knowledge of traffic regulations and road safety. Then, when both you and your instructor think you're ready, you do a trial test. And if that goes well, you go straight on to do the official test run by the RTD. Finally, provided that you're successful in both parts of the course, the theory and the practice, you get your driving license. You're then on probation for a year, and as long as you don't have any problems in that time, your license will be endorsed for future use.
Can you tell me how to enroll?
Yes, it's quite easy. For the theory course, there's no need to book, and if you're going to do classroom-based lessons, you can just turn up here at the center and pay as you go. We run 6 sessions a day, and if you go to our website, you'll find the start times for each session. If you don't have internet access, you can pick up a leaflet from the center here with that information. As for the classes themselves, all our theory classes are run by experienced tutors, and they're offered in a number of different languages as well as in English. We deliver the content using PowerPoint, but there's still a place for pen and paper tasks, and we ask you to bring your own stationery to the lessons. You choose the particular stage of the course that you want each time. Some people attend more frequently than others, and so they progress through the course at a faster rate.
What about enrolling on the practical course?
That's a bit more complicated, and you do have to book in advance. But you can do that via our website, or at the customer service desk here at the center, or you can book at one of our self-service kiosks. You'll find them in some of the big stores in the city. So it's very convenient, whatever your situation is. You can attend between 1 and 7 sessions a week, so you can decide whether you want to do the course intensively or spread it out more. Some driving schools allow you to drive your own car, but for safety and insurance reasons, we don't. You can cancel lessons in the same way that you book them, but in order to avoid incurring a penalty, you have to do that at least 72 hours in advance of your appointment. When you make a cancellation in less than the required period, you can try and transfer your session to someone else. If another trainee then agrees to take the session over, your payment for the canceled session can be credited back to your account. Otherwise, we can't give a refund for any reason, and even a medical certificate isn't accepted as grounds for granting one.